Hello, little friends. Welcome to Persia. Oh, are you surprised to see me? You were probably expecting King Nebuchadnezzar. Am I right? Well, my children, let me tell you what happened. More than 60 years have passed since Nebuchadnezzar had his dream, and just as God promised, Babylon, the statue's great golden head, is no more. Now I'm in charge. My name is Cyrus, and I'm king of Persia. My kingdom represents the silver chest and arms of the image. You know, even though two arms work together, one is usually stronger. And so, I am more powerful than the Medes. I conquered them, but I have allowed them to rule together with me. Together, we are called the Medes and the Persians. Honestly, children, I believe that the God of heaven helped me conquer Babylon. The events there were so strange. Many in that city were eagerly waiting for me, and when I entered, they applauded and accepted me as their king right away. Before this, I had managed to unite the Persian tribes. Oh, yes, I won many battles. But Babylon was a strong city and well fortified. They felt secure in their city and weren't afraid, even though they knew we were surrounding them. It was the priests of Marduk who betrayed Babylon. You know, the night we entered, the whole city was having a party. To top it all off, a strange hand appeared and wrote a message on the wall in King Belshazzar's banquet room, announcing that Babylon was going to be defeated that very night. The 70 years of captivity prophesied by the prophet Jeremiah were coming to an end. Daniel's God is very precise. And you know how I got into Babylon? Well, since the Euphrates River ran through the middle of the city, I used a bit of strategy and dug channels to let the water flow out in other directions. In this way, the Euphrates wasn't so deep anymore. And because so many in Babylon were drunk, their great brass river gates weren't even locked. Ha! We waded through the shallow river and walked right in. Now, my riches may not compare to Babylon's, but I am a strong king and blessed by God. If Babylon was the kingdom of gold, mine is of silver. My kingdom is large, and we have lots of silver. In fact, everything is made of silver. Interesting. Hey, I heard you are students of Bible prophecy. Congratulations. I personally love Bible prophecies. Did you know the prophet Isaiah wrote about me more than 200 years before I was born? Yes, I too was surprised to learn this. From the moment I saw my name in the prophetic scrolls, I decided to fulfill the mission assigned to me. I would free the Jewish captives and help them restore their temple. So, I made a law ordering that the temple of the God of Daniel should be rebuilt. I also allowed all the Jews who wanted to return to go back to Jerusalem. I even helped them financially. But do you know what? Many of the Jews didn't want to leave. They had become comfortable living here and didn't want to give up so much to start over in broken down old Jerusalem. It seems to me that it's the same way with many Christians now too. It's hard for them to do God's will because they love the things of this world and don't want to separate from it. Finally, a remnant decided to return. This small group led by Zerubbabel went to Jerusalem and rebuilt the temple, which was in ruins. The reconstruction wasn't easy, and they had many enemies. You know, those enemies were tricky. because they pretended to be friendly. They offered to help, but in reality, they just wanted to stop everything. They believed in God and pagan idols too. So their religion was a mixture of truth and error. This is very dangerous. Daniel says that his God doesn't want his people to form close partnerships with anyone who isn't a true believer. It's just not wise. There's always a risk for the believer to be influenced to abandon God's commandments. Let's be honest, it's easier to be lukewarm than to remain faithful to God. So, be very careful, my friends. Don't participate in the amusements of unbelievers and don't make any kind of partnership with them. God prophesied that I would be his shepherd and Messiah because my work is very similar to the work of Jesus Christ. God chose me to punish Babylon for her sins and deliver God's people from Babylon. I gathered his sheep together and brought them safely to Jerusalem. But there is something else you should know. God has also chosen you to call all the faithful who are still in spiritual Babylon to come out and join his fold. Today, true Christians shouldn't focus on the Jerusalem here on earth, but should look to the heavenly Jerusalem that will come. Before he returns, Jesus wants his people to build up a spiritual temple, that is, his church. There are still many faithful people who need to hear the message of truth before Jesus returns. Do you also want to be a conqueror and a builder for Jesus? I hope you do. Hey, I really enjoyed talking with you. Keep studying those prophecies. So, see you next time, my friends.